I feel like the last couple of years you've like purposely picked this fight with the red states. I mean, the DeSantis. Yeah, but I don't want to live in the Civil War country.
I agree with that.
You know what?
Well,
but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, oh, this is a blue state and that's a red state.
You got folks out there trying to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. America in reverse, rolling back voting rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, not just access to abortion, but contraception. I mean, it's a profound and consequential moment. And you could sit by and say, well, I really want to get along, as these guys are rolling back the clock.
The governor gave this creepy speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt out.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties.
While it's still only 6% contained, and he did this little dance.
Bill Maher had a fiery exchange with Gavin Newsom on Asterisk Real Time with Bill Maher Asterisk, and it was more intense than expected. While Maher has been critical of woke politics and the left in recent months, few anticipated him cornering Newsom the way he did. With sharp questions and relentless pressure, Maher forced Newsom into a tough spot, making for a heated back and forth. It was a real slugfest, with Newsom struggling to defend his positions. The audience's reactions said it all. They were visibly stunned by Maher's quick-fire interrogation and Newsom's evasive responses. So how did it all unfold? And who came out on top in this intense debate? Keep watching to find out. Now let's dive into a key moment from the conversation where Maher's relentless questioning left Newsom scrambling for answers.
Good at the job. Not this year, we know. No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but now this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you can win. What do you say to that if you could win look at the swing states, there's only 8 of them.
Right. Well, I mean, California is an interesting case study, isn't it? It's the size of 21 state populations combined.
Yeah.
2/3 of the state is very deeply red. We don't need to be lectured on rural politics or border issues. I mean, in so many ways, these are familiar issues, and the issues of the heartland of the United States are very much a part and parcel of the work we're doing in this state. But look, I understand this notion that you're from the coast, you don't understand those things. You can't talk the language. You're not able to communicate. You're not able to actually encourage and find that common ground.
It's stuff like there's a new law in this. I think we have way too many regulations and laws, as we've talked about. And this one, I think, says if you're a department store with over 500 employees, you have to have a gender-neutral toy department.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So do you think that's
it's
silly? Do you think that's a silly thing we too much government?
If you listen closely, you'll hear the audience gasp at this question. They clearly weren't expecting Maher to corner Newsom on that controversial state legislation. The shock was evident on Gavin's face, and you can even catch a slight stutter in his voice as he scrambled for a response. Maher had him trapped like a cat toying with a particularly anxious mouse, except this mouse had a hair gel sponsorship and a rapidly shrinking escape route. But like any seasoned politician, Newsom spotted his way out and took it without hesitation. Did his response actually hold up under scrutiny, or was it just clever dodging? Let's listen to his answer, and then I'll break it down with my take on whether he managed to escape unscathed or just made things worse.
That's an interesting one, because the department stores came to us supporting that. And they were the ones making a case for that. They were making a case, they're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, but they've supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support from the industry itself. But I understand how that's exploited, and good people can disagree. But that's not something we woke up and said, this is a top priority for the state, when we know what the top priorities are: homelessness, housing, the issues of crime, quality of life, and issues related to regulation and taxes, which are all top of mind. But I get how those things are no weapon.
The question was simple. Doesn't Newsom think the government is overreaching by forcing toy stores with over 500 employees to have a gender-neutral section? Instead of giving a straightforward answer, because that would be too easy, the California governor took the audience on a scenic detour. He rambled about how department stores supposedly support the decision. Sure. Even if that were true, that wasn't the question, Gavin. Classic move. This is what happens when left-leaning politicians try to defend their own policies. They dance around the issue like a game of political twister, hoping no one catches the contradictions. But Maher wasn't letting him off the hook that easily. Watch closely as Maher starts by buttering up Newsom, setting the stage before delivering a pointed follow-up that forces him to confront the actual question. This is where things really start to heat up.
So, one, I got you here because I live here and I'm not going anywhere. So I just want to make this a better state like everybody else.
Amen.
And good job this year making it rain.
You're welcome.
That
was my legislative priority.
The question was simple. Doesn't Newsom think the government is overreaching by forcing toy stores with over 500 employees to have a gender-neutral section? But instead of giving a direct answer, because that would be far too easy, the California governor took the audience on a scenic detour. He rambled about how department stores supposedly support the decision. Sure. Even if that were true, it didn't answer the actual question. Classic politician move. This is what happens when left-leaning politicians try to defend their own policies. They dodge, deflect, and dance around the issue like a game of political twister, hoping no one catches the contradictions. But Maher wasn't letting Newsom off the hook that easily. Watch closely as Maher starts by buttering him up, luring him into a false sense of security, only to follow up with a sharp, pointed question that forces him to finally confront the issue. This is where things really start to heat up.
enough water in the Colorado River and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then whenever I read 80% of the water goes to agriculture. Almonds.
Right.
No one ever asked you about almonds? Oh, I'm going to ask you about almonds. We grow a boatload of
I'm
almonds
well
here.
aware.
You know what? You know how much water it takes?
Many gallons.
1,900 gallons to grow a pound of almonds. Come on, man. Take on big almonds.
Take on big almonds.
I mean, it's not like we don't have the water.
Another brilliant question from Maher. For years, California officials have warned about water shortages, insisting the rivers couldn't sustain the state. But investigations revealed a surprising truth. There was enough water. The real issue? A staggering 80% of it was being consumed by, of all things, almonds. Yep, almonds, which, fun fact, use as much water as all indoor household consumption combined. And to make matters worse, they only contribute a mere 2% to California's economy. So Maher's question was simple. What is Newsom's office actually doing about this water crisis? Instead of a clear answer, Newsom dodged like a pro, sidestepping the issue as if auditioning for asterisk dancing with the stars asterisk. Watch as Maher presses him, refusing to let him escape without addressing the core issue.
Green years with these atmospheric rivers. Wets are getting a lot wetter, dries drier, hot's getting a lot hotter. And so we've got to modernize our conveyance system. We've got to modernize our storage, not just above ground, but below ground. And so that's a big part of our focus and frame, including desalinization plants. We have 20 projects just on desal that we're working on today. So we put out a detailed water strategy that includes, by the way, getting that Delta conveyance project back up and operational, and includes the first above ground off stream storage facility in half a century in the state, which, by the way, is being aided by a regulatory package I pushed forward to reduce red tape in the state of California and address the permitting quagmires that you rightfully pointed out.
Salad, because I sure did. The question was simple. What was Newsom actually going to do about the asterisk almond menace asterisk? But true to form, he pulled a classic left-wing sidestep, completely ignoring the elephant, or should I say asterisk almond asterisk, in the room. Instead of addressing the real issue, he rambled on about his oh-so-noble efforts to store rainwater and other vague water management strategies. Blah, blah, blah. The truth is, California's problem isn't a lack of water. It's that nearly all of it is being funneled into almond farming, which, fun fact, contributes a laughable 2% to the state's economy. Instead of confronting that inconvenient reality, Newsom waltzed around the question, clinging to tired talking points about improving water storage. And that, my friends, is textbook woke politics. Never fix the problem. Just dress it up with buzzwords and hope nobody notices. You can even see Bill Maher laughing because he knows Newsom is just trying to sound smart, or at least trying to. But credit where it's due, Maher didn't let him off the hook that easily. And that's why I respect Maher. He's one of the few voices willing to call out the left's hypocrisy, even from within their own camp. If this interview taught us anything, it's that the woke mob doesn't care about solutions. They push whatever narrative suits them, dodge accountability, and crumble the moment they have to explain their logic, like a gluten-free cookie at a Berkeley coffee shop.
Good at this job. Okay.
Did you catch all that word salad? Because I sure did. The question was simple. What was Newsom actually going to do about the almond menace ? But true to form, he pulled a classic left-wing sidestep, completely ignoring the elephant, or should I say almond in the room. Instead of tackling the issue head-on, he launched into a long-winded spiel about his so-called noble efforts to store rainwater and implement vague water management strategies. Blah, blah, blah. The truth is, California's problem isn't a lack of water. It's that nearly all of it is being funneled into almond farming, which, fun fact, consumes as much water as all indoor household use combined and contributes a laughable 2% to the state's economy. That's right, 80% of California's water is going to a crop that barely moves the economic needle. Instead of addressing this glaring issue, Newsom dodged and danced around the question, clinging to tired talking points about improving water storage. And that, my friends, is textbook woke politics. Never fix the problem. Just dress it up with buzzwords and hope nobody notices. But here's the thing. Bill Maher did notice, and he wasn't having it. You can even see him laughing because he knows Newsom is just trying to sound smart, or at least trying to. If this interview taught us anything, it's that the woke mob doesn't care about solutions. They push whatever narrative suits them, dodge accountability, and crumble the moment they have to explain their logic, like a gluten-free cookie at a Berkeley coffee shop.
Like the last couple of years, you've purposely picked this fight with the red states. I mean, the DeSantis. Yeah, but I don't want to live in the Civil War.
I agree with that.
You know what?
Well,
but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, this is a blue state and that's a red state. Yeah. And I don't want to live in that country. I like Florida.
I'm with you. And by the way, I like Florida as well. I like all these states. I completely agree. I don't want to have a state of mind that's a constant fight or flight. We've gone through so much. We've been polarized and traumatized. It's been a tough 5-6 years across the globe, not just in this country. That said, I'm not going to sit back and watch. You made the point just a moment ago in your monologue. You got folks out there trying to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. America in reverse, rolling back voting rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, not just access to abortion, but contraception. I mean, it's a profound and consequential moment. And you could sit by and say, well, I really want to get along, as these guys are rolling back the clock, or you can stand tall and assert yourself. And the reason I started to go into those red states, the reason I started to take on DeSantis, and the reason I started doing ads in these red states is I didn't feel my party was doing enough. It was CRT one year, then it's ESG, and it's DEI, anything with 3 letters. These guys keep coming, and they're shapeshifters.
And here we go again, another woke sermon straight from the gospel of progressive nonsense. But the best part? Newsom somehow managed to sum up everything wrong with woke culture in just 1 minute. Impressive. He even went as far as calling those who resist this ideology shapeshifters and accusing them of dragging America back to the 1960s. Because of course, in the minds of the woke mob, questioning their agenda means you must be a time-traveling bigot. These are the same people who are dead set on placing biological men in women's sports, forcing them into the same bathrooms, and gaslighting anyone who dares to raise an eyebrow. And if that weren't enough, they're aggressively pushing policies that prioritize race over merit in schools and workplaces, because apparently qualifications and skills are outdated concepts. But let's not forget their most radical crusade, pushing children into gender transitions. They're telling kids who can't even decide what to eat for lunch that they're somehow mature enough to make irreversible medical decisions about their bodies. Parents who object, labeled as intolerant or worse, dangerous. This isn't about progress. It's about control. And Newsom, like the rest of the woke elite, is leading the charge. But should we be surprised? This is the same man who, when wildfires ravaged California with only 6% containment, bizarrely claimed that speculators were responsible. Even Joe Rogan couldn't hide his shock at that one.
Governor gave this creepy speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt out.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties.
While it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance like, I've been talking with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We got some ideas. A speculator, we're going to have some meetings.
And the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
It's so great.
So when I tell you that these woke lefties are selfish and only look out for themselves, you best believe it. They preach compassion, equity, and justice. But the second there's money to be made, all that virtue signaling goes straight out the window. While everyday Californians were desperately trying to save their homes from literally going up in flames, what was Newsom focused on? Not relief efforts, not policy changes. Nope. He was too busy figuring out how to line his pockets. This is the same guy who locked down businesses while secretly dining at fancy restaurants, the same guy who lectures us about climate change while jetting around in private planes. And yet the woke mob still props him up as some kind of progressive savior. Why? Because they don't actually care about results. They care about power and control. It's the same story with every woke politician. They sell you a utopia while making sure they stay on top, untouched by the consequences of their own disastrous policies. Newsom and his ilk don't suffer from the chaos they create. You do. And as long as they keep cashing in, they'll never stop. At the end of the day, the woke left's hypocrisy knows no bounds. They preach equality while pushing division, claim to protect women while erasing them, and scream about democracy while silencing dissent. Newsom is just another polished fraud dodging accountability while profiting off chaos. And the worst part, the woke mob eats it up. Because for them, it's never about truth. It's about control. On that note, we bring down the curtains on today's video. If you enjoyed our spicy commentary, be sure to hit subscribe for even more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.